Stanley Milgram, a psychologist at Yale University, conducted an experiment focusing on the conflict between obedience to authority and personal conscience. Milgram wanted to understand the unthinkable, how German people could permit the extermination of the Jews, how it was possible that ordinary people did terrible crimes following orders from their superiors. The objective was to examine tensions between the individual and the society. The experiments began in July 1961. Participants were 40 males from the New Haven area, aged between 20 and 50, whose jobs ranged from unskilled to professional. At the beginning of the experiment, they were introduced to another participant, who was actually a confederate of the experimenter. They drew straws to determine their roles, learner or teacher, although this was fixed and the confederated was always the learner. There was also an experimenter dressed in a grey lab coat, played by an actor. 2 rooms in the jet interaction laboratory were used, one for the learner with an electric chair and another for the teacher, an experimenter with an electric shock generator. The learner was strapped to a chair with electrodes. After he has learned a list of word pairs given him to learn, the teacher tests him by naming a word and asking the learner to recall its pair from a list of 4 possible choices. The teacher is told to administer an electric shock every time the learner makes a mistake, increasing the level of shock each time. There were 30 switches on the shock generator marked from 15 volts, slight shock, to 450, danger and severe shock. On purpose, the learner gave mainly wrong answers, and for each of these the teacher gave him an electric shock.
This one will be 195 volts. This will be at 330.
It's absolutely essential that you continue. Continue, please.
Let me out of here. My eyes bother me.
Go on.
Let me out.
Responsible for it. The correct one.
Let me out of here.
Slow.
Let
Dance.
me out of here. My eyes bother me. Let me out of here. You have no right to keep me here. Let me out. Let me out of here. Let me out.
Continue, please.
Let me out of here. My eyes bother me. Let
Go
me
on.
out. Let me out.
Responsible for it. Red. That is incorrect. This will be at 330. The correct phrase is rich
Let me out of
boy.
here. Let me out of here. My eyes bother me. Let me out, I tell you. Let me out of here. Let me out of here. You have no right to hold me
The
here.
next phrase is
Let me
fast.
out. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out of here. Let me out.
Bird,
Let me
car, train, plane.
Eventually, the learner pretended to be unconscious.
Continue, teacher.
That is incorrect. This will be 345. The correct answer is fast, bird.
One of the most important and widely known research programs of our time is Stanley Milgram's work on obedience to authority. This study shows the ease with ordinary people can be induced by a legitimate authority to act with extraordinary cruelty against an innocent victim. When Milgram conducted the study, he found that with a little bit of coaxing, the majority of 60% of subjects would administer shocks right through to 450 volts. People tend to obey orders from other people if they recognize their authority as morally right and legally based. This response to legitimate authority is learned in a variety of situations, for example in the family, school, and workplace. The main conclusion is that ordinary people are likely to follow orders given by an authority figure, even to the extent of killing an innocent human being. Obedience to authorities ingrained in us, all from the way we are brought up.
Hey! Come on.
See, it's no good, Monty. We've all got to be alike. The only way to be happy is for everyone to be made equal. So, we must burn the books, Montag. All the books.
Do you ever read the books you burn?
Why should I? First, I'm not interested. Second, I've better things to do. And third, it is forbidden.
After the dark side of human being, I want to defend individual resistance against power. There is always space to freedom. In the case of Milgram's experiment, much of the subjects refuse to persuade. At this point, I pretend to demonstrate that civil disobedience is the motor of history. Civil disobedience is the active, professed refusal to obey certain laws, demands, and commands of a government, or of an occupying international power. Civil disobedience is a symbolic or ritualistic violation of the law, rather than a rejection of the system as a whole. Civil disobedience is sometimes, though not always, defined as being non-violent resistance. Henry David Thoreau's 1848 essay Civil Disobedience has had a wide influence on many later practitioners of civil disobedience. The driving idea behind the essay is that citizens are morally responsible for the support of aggressors, even when such support is required by law. In the essay, Thoreau explained his reasons for having refused to pay taxes as an act of protest against slavery and against the Mexican-American War. Throughout history, there is many examples of civil disobedience. Individual acts that are changing the world, making it a better place. Sometimes the greatest capacity of human being is the capacity to disrupt the law.